Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. In this one, we talk about the cameras at Tiny Middle. Not the security cameras, the point and shoot cameras that we sold, the DSLR cameras that we sold. We sold cameras. Well, cameras have to go on display for whatever reason, because otherwise people won't buy them. And they needed to be functional, which didn't make any I don't know what the point was, because the screen is this big on a digital camera. So what are they going to do? Because first of all, you can't put a card in there because somebody will walk off with it. So you can't take a picture. So all you're getting is just the preview of what the camera sees. But even if you did take a picture, what are you going to see on a screen this big? In other words, why do you watch movies on your cell phone? Fucking retards. All he is. Anyways, they had to be functional. So they had to be locked down. So we had this old system, and it was there, and it was getting more and more decrepit, and nothing was working, and cameras were getting stolen. And finally they decided that they were going to get this whole new system. So it was this whole thing, there was training on it, all sorts of adapter cables that would plug in for power. Some of them didn't take a jack, didn't have a jack for power, so it had this battery thing that went in where the battery would go and had a wire coming out, and then you couldn't close the battery door, and some of them would complain about that and this and that. And typically it had some sort of micro switch underneath it that if the camera was moved off of its mount, and it mounted with the tripod screw, which was a security Torx bit screw, they would get loose or something, and then there were other sensors that would double stick tape to the camera body itself with really, really strong adhesive. So good luck when somebody was going to buy the floor model, which again, never ever do. Well, anyways, this thing was in operation, and this new alarm system, this new security system, had a pretty annoying alarm. And it was loud, because if we were behind the counter and that would go off, you couldn't hear what the hell was going on around you. We had this manager who I called Fat Ass, not to his face, of course, but I called him Fat Ass because that's all he was. Long story with him, which is another old war story entirely, but that'll be for another time. Anyway, I hated this dick. Hated this dick. He was such a dick about everything. Well, anyways, the camera alarm is there, and we had one of these morning meetings. And somebody brought up the fact that the camera alarm was too loud. He said, too loud? They sell an auxiliary siren I wanted to get for this thing. I said, I don't think so. I mean, this thing has so many false alarms, because for how many cameras were stolen, there were probably 25 false alarms. So it wasn't much of a security system because you ignore it. And there was a little keypad, you'd punch in a code or something like that to cancel the alarm, and then it would take a minute to reset, and blah, blah, blah. This whole thing, it was just a fakakta mess of wires and shit like that. But the thing would go off incessantly because somebody would try to peel the security device off, or it would get jostled on the thing, and it just... all kinds of, you never wanted to touch these cameras, and then they wouldn't go off. But customers would go and pick them up, and the alarm would go off. And then I have to go running from the other end of the fucking department all the way over there to make sure, I'm not stealing it, sir, I'm just looking at it. Okay, boop, 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 boop. Shut the alarm, run off, and then 5 minutes later it goes off again. And again, if we were behind the counter, and they never wanted us behind the counter, but we'd always hang out behind the counter because there's something you could lean on. So anyways, this thing would go off, and we said it's going off incessantly, and somebody said, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the decibel rating on that is, but I'm experiencing some hearing loss. Kid was a prick. He really was. But I had to agree with him just on the basis that, yeah, the fucking thing is loud and it goes off way too much. And then he said, OSHA. To which Fat Ass said, oh shit. So, anyway, I said, well, in that case, let's do this. I have a decibel meter at home. I'll bring it in, and we'll look up what the acceptable level for such a device is to be around within, 5 or 6 feet where we would be. So we tested it. We set the alarm off, and indeed, it was way too loud. So I had the decibel meter, so what did we do? We put tape over where the sound would come out of this thing. And that quieted it down, but not enough. So then we put another layer of tape, and it took like 4 or 5 layers of tape to get this to an acceptable level. So if I can't hear anything anymore, that's why. What a total fucking mess that thing was. Total mess. It was a disaster. If you want a camera, go online. Look and read reviews from independent reviewers. Don't go on Amazon and read those. There are other sites that do legitimate reviews, buying the actual product, and all they do are camera reviews. Are they going to be jaded and say, this, I like this brand, so I'm going to give this a better review than another brand? Yeah, absolutely. As much as they say, oh, we're very objective. Bottom line is you can go to 4 different sites and see the same camera, and if they all say the same thing and it's what you like, then buy it. If you want to go to the store and look at it, well, there's not really a need to do that anymore either, because A, they're probably not going to have the one you wanted on display, and B, it's going to set the damn alarm off, and C, what are you going to see on a screen this big? I understand you want to kind of hold it and see where your fingers lie with the buttons on it and this and that, but nobody uses fucking cameras anymore. They just use their goddamn phone. Well, keep using your damn phone. By the way, those cameras that we sold that would set the alarm off take way better pictures than your iPhone 11. Why does the iPhone 11 Plus Plus XX Max, whatever the fuck it is, have 3 cameras? In the hopes that one of the fucking things actually works. That's why it has 3 cameras. Don't buy crap. And stop taking pictures with your phone. I understand you're out, there's an accident on the side of the road, and that's all you have, so you get a snapshot. That's what they're good for. Snapshots. But OMG, I'm taking selfies. Okay, fine. But I'm going to professionally record everything on my cell phone. Doesn't work. The lens is just about this fucking big. The lens on a real camera, and I'm not talking about DSLR, are a lot larger. A larger lens means more light comes in. The more natural light that comes into the camera, the more the sensor sees and the better the picture. Have you ever seen noise in dark pictures? Little spots and splotches in the darker areas? Yeah, that's what you get when there's not enough light. So now, go through all the pictures, not on your phone because the screen is this big. Look at them on the computer and look at the darker areas. You'll see noise. Then take a picture of the same thing with the same lighting conditions with a real camera and see the light. Or rather, the camera will for you. Thank you for watching this installment of Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.